Hi everyone, 11th Standard Accountancy, UNIT-12, exercise sum number 7. From the following details, prepare profit and loss account. The information given below, let's read. Gross profit 50,000 rupees, office rent 10,000, depreciation on office asset 8,000, discount allowed 12,000, advertisement 4,000, audit fees 1,000, interest received 2,000, discount received 3,000, carriage outward 2,500, insurance on office building 3,500, general expenses 3,000, freight inward 1,000 rupees. So what they ask, prepare profit and loss account. Okay, whenever you start to prepare the profit and loss account, first entry you have to write gross profit. Okay, if they given gross profit, you have to enter it on credit side of the profit and loss account. So you go to credit side, you always started the word with by gross profit 50,000 rupees entered, and office rent 10,000 rupees. If they given rent received, you have to enter it on credit side of the profit and loss account. Listen carefully. All the indirect expenses and losses is to be entered on debit side of the profit and loss account, and all the indirect income and gain is to be entered on credit side of the profit and loss account. If they given rent received, you have to enter it on credit side of the profit and loss account. If they given rent, so you have to consider it's a rent paid expenses, indirect expenses. So office rent is the indirect expenses. So all the indirect expenses you should enter it on debit side of the profit and loss account. So office rent is the indirect expenses 10,000 rupees. You should enter it on the debit side of the profit and loss account. Okay, so office rent 10,000 rupees entered. On debit side you always started with the word to. Okay, then depreciation of office asset. So listen, depreciation means decreases value on your asset, that is called depreciation. It's a loss. Okay, so all the losses you have to enter it on debit side of the profit and loss account. So depreciation on office asset is to be entered on debit side of the profit and loss account, 8,000 rupees entered. Then discount allowed 12,000 rupees. Discount allowed is the, so as per the profit and loss format, discount allowed is comes under the heading of other expenses and losses. So you have to enter it on the debit side of the profit and loss account. To discount allowed 12,000 rupees entered, and advertisement 4,000 rupees. So advertisement comes under the heading of, listen, advertisement comes under the heading of selling and distribution expenses. So advertisement expenses is to be debited on profit and loss account, 4,000 rupees entered. Audit fees 1,000 rupees. As per the format of the profit and loss account, audit fees comes under the heading of office and administrative expenses. So audit fees is an expenses, it is to be debited on profit and loss account. So we debited audit fees 1,000 rupees on profit and loss account. Then interest received 2,000 rupees. Listen, interest received, discount received, these both are indirect income on the profit and loss account. So you have to enter these both items or the credit side of the profit and loss account. So by interest received 2,000 rupees, by discount received 3,000 rupees entered on credit side of the profit and loss account. Then carriage outward 2,500 rupees. So listen, carriage outward is comes under the heading of selling and distribution expenses. So carriage outward is the expenses, you have to enter it on the debit side of the profit and loss account. So we have entered it 2,500 rupees. Then insurance on office building 3,500 rupees. So insurance premium is comes under the heading of office and administrative expenses. So insurance premium is an expenses, you have to enter it on debit side of the profit and loss account. We entered 3500 rupees on debit side. And general expenses 3000 rupees. Listen, general expenses or general traveling expenses both are same. It's a indirect expenses. It comes under the heading of office and administrative expenses. So we have entered general expenses on debit side of the profit and loss account. So two general expenses 3000 rupees entered. Finally, freight inward 1000 rupees. Freight inwards will not appear in the profit and loss account because it's a direct expenses. Inward means direct expenses. It goes to trading account. Okay, so we have to reject it. We have to strike out it. Okay, so apart from the freight inward, with other all expenses and other all indirect incomes, we enter it on the profit and loss account. Okay, now we are going to close the profit and loss account. So for that we have to find the total. So which side has the higher total? Credit side has the higher value. If the credit side has the higher value, the net profits comes on debit side. The difference amount, that means net profit, is on debit side. Okay, so the credit side has the higher value. How much rupees? 55,000 rupees. So we have to consider that higher value 55,000 rupees as the total. We have to enter that total on both debit and credit side on the same horizontal line we entered. Okay, then we have to find the difference between them. So for that we have to add the lesser side values, that is 44,000. We have to subtract 44,000 from the total amount 55,000. We will get 11,000. So 11,000 is the net profit of the profit and loss account. Okay, so we have to transfer that net profit into the capital account. Do you have any doubt? Please comment it on the comment box. Thank you. Take care.